results, and in this video, let's go ahead and make the M3 just a little bit louder. Before that though, let's move the 7.5 out of the way because it's in the way. To be completely honest, I'm not a big fan of how these cars sound with an exhaust. There's a very limited amount of exhaust setups that to me sound really good, in my opinion. You know, I'm not sure what to expect here because videos do one thing and in person is a whole different experience. But I did get this Magnaflow CATBACK system for a really good price, so you know what? I can't lose here. If I don't like it, I'll post it up for sale. The reason it was so cheap is because this was actually cut by the previous owner. This section right here was cut because it was seized, so I had my buddy Daniel actually weld this up because I might as well, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't like it, I'll cut it and weld up a new piece, whatever, we'll see. But for now, we're gonna change this up, and I'm actually really excited to hear how this sounds. So without further ado, let's get to work. Nice. First things first, before we start removing the exhaust, I'm gonna remove this actual plastic piece right here, this plastic cover. There's gonna be a few 8mm bolts and then one 10mm bolt on the side. We're gonna remove this entire shield and then we're gonna get to the exhaust. This is literally to serve only one purpose, and that is to remove these bolts right here. What you're greeted with here are headers and the rest of the exhaust. You need a 14mm open end wrench to hold onto the nuts and an EP14 socket to actually unscrew these bolts. 4 nuts and bolts removed. Now, technically this is ready to slide out, but we're not quite done yet. When you go down the exhaust towards the muffler, you're greeted with 2 brackets, right? There's gonna be 8 13mm bolts and 2 13mm nuts. Unscrew those. Once you get past these hangers and brackets, there's gonna be a large brace. It's gonna have 3 16mm bolts, 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. Then on the passenger side, there's gonna be 1 exhaust hanger. It's gonna have 2 12mm nuts. You're gonna need a long socket and an extension. And then the driver's side is gonna have 2 exhaust hangers because the driver's side is actually a heavier side. There's gonna be 4 12mm nuts. 3 of them are pretty accessible. The 4th one is hidden behind there. You're gonna need one of these little squiggly things. And of course, before we start unscrewing this muffler part, try to jack it up with something because this exhaust, the stock exhaust, is actually quite heavy. It's gonna be really annoying unscrewing these 6 nuts and holding the muffler simultaneously. So jack it up, let it sit on something. Don't rely on your strength, Mr. Strong Guy. There you go. Oh. Once you get it removed, there's gonna be 2 13mm nuts. We're gonna take these hangers off and transfer them. Boom. This exhaust hanger on. This one's on. Tighten them up. Last thing you want is for your exhaust to keep rattling once you install it. Also, we need to transfer these hangers right here. You're gonna need a 13mm open end wrench and a 13mm socket. Put these clamps on before we put everything else back on, so I'll put these on there, slide them over a little bit. I'm not gonna tighten anything too crazy because I will be adjusting this once this is in. So put this pipe in, put this pipe in. Hangers, we gotta transfer those now. Exhaust clamp going on this side like this, and this one actually vice versa. Nut should be facing that way. And now the struggle of aligning these pipes in, but once you get it aligned, then pretty much we'll be ready to put this back on the car.
Damn, this one's a rattler, man.
It's raspy, dude. And now I think it's safe to say that we could try to put this underneath and do all sorts of little adjustments while we're under there, so let's go for it. I mean, of course, this isn't aligned yet, but you know what? So far, looking pretty good. Obviously, you want to mess around with this, make it align, make it all perfect, and then tighten up every single nut and bolt. To tighten up every clamp that you have loose, you're gonna need a long 15mm socket. And of course, when everything's on there and everything's looking good and tidy, well, drop the car and let's give her our first start, dude. The moment of truth is now. The first startup is about to happen. Let's go ahead and hear how she sounds. You know what, first impressions, not too bad. It's not as loud as I thought it's gonna be. That is good. I guess the only best option to do now is to actually go on a test drive, see if it drones, see if it has any sort of weird sounds that I'm not enjoying. But so far, not too bad. Less rasp, I like it. Check engine light and it started idling really well. And then I restarted and it's good. Really? What the heck? I noticed when I launched over there, it was, it kind of just, it didn't, the top end didn't feel as good. It was just like slowing down. Oh, really? So I turned around and gave it gas and it turned on like we're right here. Anyway, the exhaust sounds good. Driving this for the last several days, and I gotta admit one thing, it really did grow on me a lot. I'm very picky with how an M3 sounds. In my opinion, they do not sound good at all unless you do a bunch of sort of mix matching with an exhaust in terms of like a certain X pipe from one brand, some headers, you know what I mean? That's just me. I'm very specific with the way the M3 sounds. But this does not sound all that bad at all. A lot of colors have been brought up with this exhaust. A lot of mid-tones, a little bit more low end. Not as many high tones. It's very similar in terms of a stock exhaust. Very similar, but just more colorful, for lack of a better term, you know what I mean? There's no drone, which is amazing. I love it. There's no drone. Most importantly, to me, there's not a lot of rasp. And as a matter of fact, compared to a stock exhaust, I think there's less rasp in my opinion. So if you're not familiar with this channel, dude, I'm building an M3 with a V10 swap. I already have the shell. The V10 is almost done. There's been a bunch of stuff going on, man. Dude, if you're into this kind of stuff, make sure to like and subscribe because, dude, that stuff really helps. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you. If you're new, welcome to Revs Builds. And on that note, peace.